When the White House releases a statement about the Holocaust, but doesn't specifically mention your group by name, these are the things that I think. So this is a story that I only recently became aware of via the David Pakman Show on YouTube. They released a video today, February 2nd, called Trump Fails to Mention Jews in Holocaust Remembrance Statement. Now, this statement is released every year, January 27th, which is International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and it reads as follows. It is with a heavy heart and somber mind that we remember and honor the victims, survivors, heroes of the Holocaust. It is impossible to fully fathom the depravity and horror inflicted on innocent people by Nazi terror. And then it goes on for two more little paragraphs where it talks about the darkest hours of humanity, light shining the brightest, the usual platitudes. In the name of the perished, I pledge to do everything in my power throughout my presidency and my life to ensure the forces of evil never again defeat the powers of good. Oh, I'm pretty sure that the powers of good ended up defeating the Nazis, so I don't know what that actually means. That's basically the statement. And the problem that people like David Pakman seem to have with this statement, and let's be honest, it's Jewish people that have a problem with this, is that it only said victims, survivors, and heroes. And then it went on to say innocent people. They never mentioned specifically the Jews by name, and they never mentioned anti-Semitism. This is just one thing that I hate about the modern victim culture. It isn't enough that someone acknowledges the victims of some sort of tragedy. You have to mention their group by name or they get pissed. It's like they think that they're not included in the word victims. I'm pretty sure everyone knows, except for the Holocaust deniers, but who cares what they think? They're denying history. I'm pretty sure everyone understands that when you talk about the Holocaust and you talk about the victims of the Holocaust, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? It's the Jews. And the reason that that's the first thing that pops into your mind is that is what all the history books focus on. For a good reason. They were the primary group, the largest group that the Nazis were targeting. But, there were so many other victims as well. And here's the thing. When it comes to this, it's not a zero-sum game. Okay, the fact that other people were affected by this does not decrease the gravity of the injury that you sustained. Okay, just because black people and gay people and disabled people were also being executed by the Nazis, it doesn't make the fact that Jews were being executed by the Nazis any less horrible. Yet these people seem to think that that's the case. Like, some people generally get upset when you try and include other people in their victim group. Okay, now I don't want to get too far into this. Don't think that I'm bashing on anyone, by the way. I'm basically bashing right now on victim culture as a whole, because that's the reason that we're here. Look, it is true that in the past, the White House statement about the Holocaust Remembrance Day usually specifically mentions the Jews and usually specifically mentions the fact that it was motivated by anti-Semitism. All right, that's a fact. It usually is included. But I really genuinely don't understand. And this is also because I'm not part of the group, maybe. That's what people are going to say. They're going to say, well, you're not a Jew, then that's why you don't understand it. Possibly, okay? But I think there are very few people alive today that were actually, there and being persecuted when it happened. We're getting to the point where all of the original victims are dead, and now there aren't any victims left. It's the second generation Holocaust victims, essentially, if you can call it that. The children and then the grandchildren of the people that suffered under the Nazis. And I'm not saying that in some way demeans the suffering of the people that were actually there. The fact of the matter is that there are certain people that actually like the fact that they're Jewish specifically because of things like this, where they never personally suffered under the Holocaust, under the Nazis, but now they get to claim victim points because they're part of a group that has been historically discriminated against or attacked, okay? It happens all the time. Black people who have never suffered a day in their life because of their race, crying about how they're being persecuted even though they specifically are not, because they like it. They like the fact that they get to claim to be a victim. There's this big victim culture right now. Everyone's been seeing it. The SJWs thing, the victim culture is getting way out of control. And this is just one instance of it. The statement specifically mentions that they remember and honor the victims of the Holocaust. Everybody knows that that includes the Jews. Just because they didn't specifically say Jews doesn't mean that they're trying to slight you. It doesn't mean that they're saying, oh, we're going to stick it to these Jews. We're not going to mention them on Holocaust Remembrance Day. Now, I'll be honest. I don't know, okay? I don't know the person that wrote this. I don't know their reasons for writing it the way they wrote it. For all I know, maybe that was the case. Maybe they did actually do this as a, sort of a punch to the Jews. And if it came out that that was the case, I would decry that, all right? That's not cool. That's not okay. You can't do that. But this speaks to me as just more of this grasping, reaching for victimhood thing. Oh, you didn't specifically name my group, therefore you are oppressing me. People protested because of this. I couldn't believe it. The thumbnail for the David Pakman Show video, it shows people holding signs that says Jews reject Trump. Now, this could have been something else. This could have been during the campaign or whatever it is. It might not be specifically protesting this. But the fact remains that there are plenty of people out there that think that if you don't specifically mention their victim group, that you're somehow like denying that they were affected, or you're somehow slighting their group. That's not the case, okay? In general, some people might hold that view. Some people might do that for that reason, but I don't think as a whole that's the thing that's going on here. So I think people really, really need to calm down about this. I think this is one of the biggest non-stories that I've seen lately. I mean, there's been a lot of non-stories lately, but this one really struck me as especially ridiculous, especially stupid, especially, I don't know if I want to say arrogant or maybe egotistic. Look, everyone knows the Jews were victims of the Holocaust. When you see the word victims, you know that they're talking about Jews. Get over it. Not the Holocaust. Get over this, because this doesn't matter. This is dumb. Victim culture is stupid, and that's all that I have to say about that.